I think of leverage as a design principle. If you're a founder, builder, leader in general, this lens helps you stay focused on what matters. You really don't have to do everything. It's about making that effort count and making sure that at any given moment, you're working on the most high signal piece for your business or for your creative ventures. Welcome to Everyday Innovation, your go-to podcast for enhancing your creative and entrepreneurial process. I'm Jordan DeVecchia, a multi-passionate creator entrepreneur, venture studio co-founder, and business designer and advisor. Here we live at the intersection of creativity, strategy, and personal development. Join me for inspiring conversations, actionable practices, and insight infusions designed to shift your mindset and empower you with tools and resources to create impactful ventures. Get ready to take your ideas to the next level and innovate with purpose. Welcome back to Everyday Innovation. Today, I'm excited to talk about a concept and a word I absolutely love, which is leverage. We want to build smarter, not harder. We have all this hustle culture in entrepreneurship and also in leadership, and using the concept of leverage not as like a productivity or financial tool, and bringing it into the realm of intentional design is something that can really, really give you so much space to create more impact. So if you're leading something like your own company, a product, a creative vision, you probably don't need more to do. Leverage helps you create more momentum, clarity, and progress with the resources that you already have, which also makes your venture, your life, your decisions more sustainable. So I want to talk about what we're going to cover today. How I think about leverage, 4 key areas where I see leverage unlock growth and breathing room, examples, prompts, and next steps to apply this in your own work. And then we're going to wrap it up and talk about what comes next. So whether you're building or backing or steering ventures, I think this will help you think a lot more clearly about how progress actually compounds. So let's talk about what leverage actually means. So leverage really means getting more out of what you're already doing by setting things up to have a ripple effect. So I think of it in venture design, building in ways that create opportunities, results, and alignment without needing that constant hands-on effort. So when you pull those quote unquote levers, you're able to create more impact and lean into the strengths that you or your team already have. So I don't want you to think of this as a shortcut because there's lots of hacks and shortcuts out there. It's really focusing with intention on the things you can build durable systems around, you can make intentional bets on, and stack a lot of small wins under to create these bigger waves over time. So, I'm going to talk about 4 kinds of leverage that I come back to again and again in both new ventures and established businesses. And these are inspired by Naval Ravikant. He, I think, originally tweeted these. So, I'm just going to expand upon them a little bit. And I think he laid out a really great framework for architecting kind of these key points that I see in many, many ventures or creative projects that allow them to thrive and are able to be sustainable over time. So, let's talk about it. The 4 are media, technology, people, and capital. And I'll get into those because I think sometimes we have preconceived definitions of each one. And I think we can be a little lax with those and adapt it to more of our situation. But overall, I think those 4 pieces speak to functions of the business or the project or even decisions in daily life as you're putting it into kind of more of a network of community that can help create more impact from each move that you make. So let's first talk about media. So, media as the system for spreading ideas. So, I think media is how your thinking travels. If it's done well, it can turn one conversation into dozens or more. It creates trust, it creates clarity and reach without requiring you to show up in real time. And that is incredibly valuable because it's taking one or a few people's ideas and impact and being able to spread it out over a community and have those conversations in scale. There are many ways that you can look to how you're creating media already or how you might work with disseminating your ideas in a way that creates more and that will lead to more impact in your business. So, for example, this could be a creative tech founder records some short audio memos and then turns them into podcast episodes that actually help with customer interest and maybe even get some speaking invitations. Another example could be like a venture backed wellness brand that use founder led video storytelling to clarify the values and attract aligned retail partners or even possibly employees. And then another could be maybe a cultural strategist publishes their IP as a toolkit, which helps them build credibility with both founders and also collaborators without having to pitch all the time. These are things that can be published too. So it's many things. It could be content online, which I think is very popular right now, quote unquote thought leadership. I know that's maybe a term that's not always loved by everyone, but putting those ideas out there in structured format to help other people and to express certain ideas and intellectual property in a way that can be traced back to you, that can be traced back to your project, your mission, your values. So, a quick audit that you can have for yourself is what's something that you're always explaining that could be turned into a clear, reusable asset. So, think of an asset as a video, maybe it's a framework, something that you can put together in a visual. These really do create a lot of leverage in communicating and storytelling your ideas and also the pitch for your business and the pitch for your vision. Because in the end, we are all having those relationships and you want to communicate that to other people. And a quick win could be taking one key insight and making something visible out of it. So it could be some sort of an artifact, a post, a doc, something that others can share or learn from. Or what I'm doing right here, recording a video, recording a podcast, do the same. Start to put those ideas out there. And these can also be leads, especially evergreen leads over time, because you're able to pull people in through your voice, your vision, your ideas. Now, I want to talk about technology and leverage. So, this can show up in many ways. Sometimes it is part of the business itself. So, I don't want to say even just technology like software, for example. I'm talking about systems in place that show a process that is unique to maybe the founder, that's unique to the business itself, something that is repeatable, usable, systemic changing type of intellectual property that other people can benefit from, or that gives you a unique advantage in your business, in your decision making, in your leadership. So some examples of this could be talking a little bit more closely to the tech, or the more traditional version of tech is maybe a founder designer builds an AI tool to generate social assets based on new product drops, cutting the turnaround from days to hours. Maybe, let's say, a small team can prototype digital offerings in Glide or Softer before hiring developers. So it allows for fast pivots and real customer data. So doing MVPs. A studio could also have like a shared Notion dashboard to coordinate launch timelines across marketing or ops or product without these extra meetings. And then things like automation or putting things into a strategy process or ops that people can follow. These are all kind of considered technology. And if you're doing it, especially if you're doing it in a way that is unique and beneficial and finds a more efficient way to do it. So these are things that you can share, even if you're a consultant, right? The way that you approach things can be part of that technology aspect. So a quick audit could be what feels clunky or repetitive in your week? Where are you patching things manually? Where can you leverage tech in your business to create more impact? And also, where are you doing it right? Where is a process that you're doing right that you can create something that is repeatable and that you can potentially even share with others? So, a quick win could be maybe there's a part of your personal flow or something that you're working on that you can clean up, map it, templatize it, delegate it to software, and see what happens from there and see if that creates a little bit more impact for you. And then next is people. So I think of people as force multipliers. Leverage through people happens when you're clear on what you need and you bring in the right minds, skills, or perspectives to move faster and better. So, examples of this are hiring fractional talent to come in because you don't necessarily always have to hire everybody right away. You can have like an emerging brand could bring in a fractional COO to scale the fulfillment side while the founder focuses on creative direction if that's what their skill set is. A founder of maybe like a media tech hybrid recruits a cultural editor to shape some narrative arcs instead of trying to do it all solo. And, having someone to be that third person that is tapped into what the audience wants to hear and how to best tell the story of the company to others. Another example could even be in the sense of collaboration. So, a Web3 collective can co create with their community, maybe using open contribution systems to accelerate some of their experiments. So, A quick audit could be, what are you still holding on to that someone else could do better or at least faster? And this, again, doesn't always have to be hiring or getting a fractional person as well, but this could also be through strategic collaborations or partnerships. And a quick one would be, make a list of three things you're avoiding or repeating. Who could carry one of them forward? So, again, where can you get a little bit more support in what you're doing via, and it's even mentorship, advisory as well, where you can fill in some of those gaps and help support the business as a whole and bring in people strategically who have these specific insights, perspectives that can even potentially create a lot of buzz around your company and your venture as well. So, lastly, I want to talk about capital as a tool for intentional momentum. So, capital becomes leverage when it aligns with clarity. So, when you know what it's fueling and why. So, this could be external funding, reinvested profits, or even how you spend your team's time or energy. So, for example, a product studio could self fund an idea using consulting income, and they're able to maintain full control of that. When you raise outside funds, you're probably giving away equity, some sort of revenue sharing, whatever your deal might be. But by self funding it, by working with some clients to fund an idea, then that way you retain more control and you're using capital as leverage and how much of you're able to make off of that particular venture. The founder could reinvest revenue into building out a licensing infrastructure instead of launching a new offer too quickly. There could also be an investor funds a storytelling initiative that helps portfolio companies clarify brand positioning ahead of go to market. So you have these portfolio companies, and by investing in somebody who understands storytelling, branding, marketing, you're able to get more of a return on that investment, even though there's something up front, because now those companies, as they go to market, will have clear messaging and they're leveraging the fact that there is this intelligence that can be applied to multiple companies and everybody can benefit from that. But they're being efficient in not getting somebody different for every single one of them, for example. So, a quick audit would be, are your investments of money, time, energy actually helping you move forward, or are they just keeping things running? A quick win could be shift one upcoming investment. So, maybe it's again, budget, time, energy towards something that could offer compounding return. So, more in the life design space, I have designed an activity flow journal, which is super fun. A lot of people have been downloading it for themselves or for their teams as they work through and see what is draining energy, where is their flow, where are there opportunities maybe to delegate. And you can leverage this as a tool to keep using the word leverage, right? It's one of my favorite words. You can use this to see where you can reinvest more of that energy or where you can maybe divest it. So you can move some of that away into something else. So that's just another tool that I have there. And I have that linked in the show notes. And then just another piece that I want to speak about that are outside of those four is founder venture fit. I think it is a version of quiet leverage, but it's something that is essential, especially now. When your work fits you, your strengths, values, and season of life, you stop wasting energy, money, time fighting yourself. The alignment doesn't just feel better, it actually creates its own type of leverage. So, in practice, for example, like a founder with a background in hospitality, designing their digital platform to mimic the intimacy of in person experiences is just such a unique point of perspective and leverage because of that alignment. A product builder shifting from these kind of sprint heavy cycles to more rhythm based releases that match their creative process creates leverage again because they're putting something into their systems that is more in alignment with how their brain and how their genius works. Another example, creative founder restructures their role to focus on brand and vision, letting others lead ops and sales, understanding again that kind of speaks again to the people aspect of it, but understanding where their brain and their genius is best suited. So understanding that again is a lever that you can pull at any point. And this is something to practice and to get in alignment with very early on. So Is there anything in your setup right now that's draining you unnecessarily? Is there a small shift in structure that can unlock some more ease, clarity, or energy in your process? If you haven't listened to it already, you can listen to the Redefining Venture Design episode, which was the last one right before this. You can get a little bit more clarity on how this venture design process can align with you as a founder so that you can create more of that founder venture fit. So I really think of leverage as a design principle. I think it helps stretch what you already have and make each piece work harder, longer, and smarter. So I really think if you're a founder, builder, leader in general, this lens helps you stay focused on what matters. You really don't have to do everything. It's about making that effort count and making sure that at any given moment you're working on the most high signal piece for your business or for your creative ventures. And then the more aligned your systems and people and choices are with how you actually work best, the more progress you're going to make without that force. It's going to feel easier. It's going to feel like flow. So, I want to tell you a little bit about the next couple of episodes that are coming out. So, we're going to be talking a little bit about AI's leverage. I really want to get into the why behind AI, when it actually matters, how to think about it when designing your venture, where it fits structurally, and again, finding a way for it to be leverage and in alignment and not just there for the hype and where it fits into modern venture design. And then the episode after that, we're going to talk about how to leverage AI in the venture design process so it can help you strategize better, lead better, and build smarter from day one. So I'm excited to talk about those. Let me know what you think in the show notes and where I want to hear about the leverage that you're creating in each of those areas in your business right now. Or is there something that you think you could leverage more of? I'm excited to hear more. Please comment on this episode if you're on YouTube or Spotify. I'll catch you in the next one.